Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Employment Solutions Society, a Nova Scotia Works Employment Service Center, for this presentation on LinkedIn, Modernize Your Network. My name's Alex. I'm a summer intern in the Bridgewater office, and joining me today is my colleague, Amy Oifel, who is our summer intern in our Liverpool office. Nova Scotia Works Employment Solutions Society. Our mission is to enhance the employability of all individuals in our community through learning and inclusive services. Before we begin our presentation today, I would just like to acknowledge that Employment Solutions Society is based out of Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the Treaty of Peace and Friendships. I extend my deepest gratitude to the ancestors, past, present, and future, who have been and continue to be stewards of these lands. So LinkedIn, modernize your network. A little overview of what we're going to discuss today. LinkedIn is a free-to-use software that is consistently evolving, and it's a growing, active platform. It's helpful for entrepreneurs to grow their business, but it's not really a social media platform. It's more about finding better work and building your network faster. It cuts out, the Facebook, pictures of cats and dogs and that sort of thing. It really takes it into just a professional setting. It will help you align your career and sharing your passions with others who share careers and similar passions. And there are so many different perspectives to look through and so many different possibilities.
Here's a little video to give you a little overview of what is LinkedIn. So the LinkedIn mindset. So there's 3 core principles that you have to understand before you make your LinkedIn profile. So the first one is the software and understanding the software, and it's something called keyword density that we'll get into in a moment. But yeah, just having a good understanding of the software and what it recognizes. The other principle is setting up your profile for an HR recruiter or professional that may look at it, that might be recruiting for their business, and then also the hiring manager. So you have to optimize all these 3 hoops to maybe get a job offer off of LinkedIn. Each principal has a different preference, so you need to create your profile that really tailors to all 3 levels. And don't just focus on one, but try to keep in mind all of them because they're all equally important. So keyword density, so this is what I was talking about the software. So understanding the LinkedIn software. Keyword density is using keywords in your profile and how often these keywords repeat. So this could be anything like a job title, anything descriptive of you, skills you have, hard or soft. So say I was an accountant and I had accountant 6 times on my profile, but Alex was also an accountant and he had his 30 times in a profile. He's going to get much more recognized by the software. So principle 1 is software. We want you to recognize your keyword density to highlight you so others can see your profile. The second one is tailoring it to an HR recruiter or professional. So when someone hires another person, there's 3 key factors that a hiring person thinks about. Competence. You have competence if you have a resume and an understanding of that resume, and you're obviously here today wanting to make a profile, so you have that ticked off. And approachability, so getting that personal feel from your profile. And trust, another key factor. Some people are more trusting than others, but they want to be able to trust you when giving you a job offer or potentially a job opportunity. So reflect on those 3 goals above when making your profile. So is my LinkedIn communicating competence and approachability? And they go hand in hand when creating that overall trust. So to put it in context, you have a very powerful tool to network and a stepping stone to get you to the other side of that network. So reaching out to people directly to create meetings from LinkedIn is something that happens there often. Meeting face-to-face, Zoom, coffee, just to get to know people is quite important. And that's kind of the stage that goes with HR recruiting or professionals, is making those additional meetings off of LinkedIn. So the step 1, upload a professional photograph. So a photo increases the profile views and is your first impression. So you can do it yourself unless you have advanced lighting skills, then by all means use your advanced lighting skills, but your cell phone is likely to take a sharp image. One thing that separates a good portrait photo from a mediocre one is good lighting, so make sure you have good lighting. Keep in mind that your audience and the brand you're conveying. So the first picture depicted is a career coach. He's just an example that we've used. So he went for a more approachable picture because he's talking to a lot of different clients. Say if you're an investment banker, for example, you might want to wear a suit and tie. Me and Alex also include our headshots there. His photo is a campaign photo, so his is a little bit more professional done. And mine is just from a business conference, so those are a little bit more more professional and less approachable than the example that we used, but you can tailor that to whatever you're trying to convey on your profile.
So step 2, add your location and industry. It is important to specify your industry and location, as these are 2 of the most important filters recruiters use. They want to know what you do and where you are. Companies in Toronto might be looking for somebody who's starting immediately, and maybe looking for somebody in the Greater Toronto area, or same thing with somebody in Halifax, might be trying to hire locally. And then having your industry as well helps you be recruited. It will show what you do. So for example, our example here, he's a professional training and coaching. So that's his industry, and he lives in Calgary. So that kind of makes it easier for for him to be searched up and to be found on LinkedIn. Location is one of the top 5 fields that LinkedIn prioritizes when doing a keyword search. And besides that, the 5 main fields that LinkedIn uses are your name, headline, location, your summary, and your experience. It's all about those keywords. So customize your URL. If you have a LinkedIn account, then you have your own unique internet address called a URL. Your address is unique to you, but it will likely consist of your first name followed by numbers, letters, and dashes. So as you can see, Amy put her former one there before she changed hers. So that's how it pops up originally. But as you can see on the right here, Clifford Weasel Wessel, he changed his to his actual name. So then when he puts that on a business card or on his resume, it just comes off a little bit cleaner and really easy to search out. We suggest you customize your URL to display it on your resume, business cards, email signatures, etc. It just makes it look a little bit cleaner, a little bit more professional. And to do that, you just click edit your public profile. In the upper right hand corner, you can edit your URL as per the image to the right. So writing a summary is another important step in the LinkedIn process. So your summary, it should say a little bit about you. It doesn't just have to be what you've done. It could also be what you like to do. Talk about yourself. Make it, a little bit more personable than, robotic. So below your picture, your name, location, company, and school, you can write a little summary about yourself. And it's a great opportunity to communicate your brand as well as use several of your keywords. So, using those keywords, again, if you're an accountant, you're going to want to put in, different accounting terms that might be used, you want to continue to use those words. So the density, when they're searching you up, if somebody's searching up for an accountant in Bridgewater, your name's likely going to pop up because you continue to use these densities. As a starting point, we kind of recommend to cut and paste the profile statement from your resume. So, just very brief. Like I said, it's just brief. I would make sure that you make it in first person, though, talking about yourself, talking, as if I did this, not Alex did this, for example. You have up to 2,000 characters, so, you don't feel like you have to use all 2,000. Don't feel like, 100's not enough. It's up to you how much you do and whatever you're comfortable with. And part of that is, who you are as a person. So if you're somebody who's going to write a 2,000 page or 2,000 word summary, then so be it. But that, the length isn't necessarily the issue. The main thing is the content. Quality over quantity, as they say.
So now, describing your experience. So this is where you get to write high-level summaries of your current and past roles. So when we came across the research on keyword density, which is the numberized keywords are repeated in your profile. For example, if the keyword accountant appears 3 times throughout your profile and 37 throughout mine, then I'm going to score much higher on the search for accountant just because of the software. As a job seeker, we want to be found on our skills and abilities, not for something as trivial as many words are repeating in your summaries, but that's the reality of the LinkedIn software. So we just included just a summary of what this person did in their past role, and these are just some high-level actions. It doesn't have to be very long, and that's something that can come out right from your resume. So the first challenge is the computer. Like we have already talked about, the easiest way to figure out which keywords you should use is first look at your resume and highlight all the main descriptive words that apply to you. Use LinkedIn and look at keywords that your colleagues also use throughout their profile, especially in their skill section, and maybe write those down, the ones that you think apply to you as well. The third and final step is maybe to look at 5 to 10 jobs that you are interested in and scan them for keywords and use those keywords also in your profile if you think they apply to you. Using the 3 steps above, you should easily be able to identify 20 to 40 words you should be focusing on, and that's what you can include in your skill sum or your experience summary and your summary as well. The second challenge is to be selected by an HR professional or recruiter for an interview. So recruiters can shift through hundreds of potential applicants. So the key is to make your writing interesting and worth their time reading. They want a complete picture of who you are and what you're capable of. So to satisfy this, you cover 3 areas: context, action, and results. So context, what does your company do? How big is it? What's the focus on your role? What obstacles did you tackle? What objectives did you shoot for? And then action, so detail of what you did. If you worked as part of a team, it's important to describe your specific contribution to that team, and results you achieved. So this can be tricky in some jobs to talk about the goals that you achieved because some things are discussed on a one-on-one basis. Although it's harder to generate these descriptions of results, if you do it, the less people do it. So if you do this, then the bigger competitive advantage you have, and if you can talk about your results, that's really good to include in your profile as well. And then the final challenge is to convince the hiring manager to meet you. So hiring leaders are only presented with a couple potential top candidates from their HR recruiters. So many of them prefer for a bit of detail, both technical and soft skills. So make sure you include that in your profile as well. And if you pass all these challenges, hopefully you'll be asked for an interview.
So moving on to step 6, to add some skills. So once again, this is an opportunity to use the keyword density here. These are things when people are searching you up, they'll be able to see that these are the type of skills you have. What's really cool about the skills is you can post what your skills are, but then they can also be endorsed by, colleagues, coworkers, friends, family, whatever, you might have in your connections. So for example, if one company, calls one of your skills sales and another company calls it business development, then you might as well list both because, you have 50 to choose from, right? So, the more the merrier. You want to make sure that to show that you have a lot of skills, and the more endorsements you get on your skills, the better. So to add, delete, move, or in general manage your skills, you just click on the Add New Skill link in the top right-hand corner of the Skills section as shown by the yellow arrow there. When adding a skill, we recommend that whenever possible, you pick skills from the drop-down menu. For example, in high school, I worked at a sporting goods store, and one of the skills I would have learned there is skate sharpening. When applying for, professional jobs, I'm likely not going to include that I know how to sharpen skates, as it's not really relevant to what I'm applying for. Same thing with my LinkedIn. I'm not applying for position, at a sports store sharpening skates. So I don't need it on my LinkedIn. However, if I was and it wasn't a drop-down menu, I could add that in there. And of course, you can create brand new skills. If it's relevant to who you are and what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, then it's absolutely no harm into adding it. Just make sure that you add as many from the drop-down menu that are similar to it as possible. So next is a major important part, and I think this goes without saying, but LinkedIn isn't just for somebody with the university education. It can be used, for any form of education, whether it be, a first aid course or a safe serve course. Any education is important, and it's important to add that into your profile. So one thing you want to do is, we're going to use the university example just because this is what Clifton's used for his. So you're going to write your school's name at the drop-down menu and click your university to get the logo besides the name. That's going to allow you to pop up, so you'll be able to see people that also went to your school and studied the same program. But also when you're looking at companies to apply for, it'll show you people from your school that work for that company, and you might know the person and be able to reach out to them and have a discussion about what it's like to work there, or you never know, it could even end up being the hiring manager. So logos, and the logos, they add visual appeal and the credibility. This tip, it also applies equally to your experience section, assuming that your current or past company has a page on LinkedIn. So having that little picture there for somebody to click on when they're looking into you, if that is your company, they can click on that and learn more about your company and what that company is all about, a hiring manager, or even just somebody looking to connect. And using those keywords, I think we say keyword 100 times so far today, but it really is important. So, if you put in, for example, he took a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from 1986 to 1989. And there he specialized in clinical psychology and management and organizational psychology. So he's mentioned psychology now 3 times in that little blurb, not to mention management. So then he did his master's in 97 at Nova Southeastern University. And in there, he talks about human resources, career coaching, management, business. So all these he's using those keywords, and then those are keywords that you've seen throughout his profile already today. So the more he uses them, the more traction he's going to get in that field.
So now we're moving on to professional connections. So you can see your connections by that orange arrow right there. So near the top of your page, you can click on My Network and the green arrow showing you there. And if you have an email account, then you can give LinkedIn permission to sync with your email address book by clicking on the orange arrow there. LinkedIn will look for email addresses that people of your directory who already have LinkedIn, but I suggest going through and just selecting the ones that you don't want to connect with. But this is a really good way to hit 50 plus connections, which will really launch your LinkedIn profile. You can accept invitations from people asking to connect with you in the blue arrow. You can keep your network to your colleagues or business associates, or if you're on the entrepreneurial side, and you understand the importance of having a big network, then when it comes to finding the right people for your business, then by all means, accept whoever you want. But just a personal example, I don't accept every invitation. However, if there's a chance this person can help me connect to a potential client or employer in the future, then I accept it. You can grow your network by scrolling through the people you may know section with the yellow arrow to find some people that you may know as well. And then step 9, so turn on recruiters, let recruiters know that you're open to work. So this is if you're looking for a job. So there is also a filter you can put on your profile picture that is a banner that says hashtag I'm open to work. But this is a more software approach to letting people know that you're open to work. So if you're updating your LinkedIn profile because you're searching for work, you want to let recruiters know that you're looking so they find you. So first click on jobs and then career interests. Now you can click on let recruiters know you're open. And then you can detail in the notes section to specify where you are in your search. What would you like to start? Titles you're targeting, geographic locations, type of work, company size, etc. So this will really open your profile to those HR recruiters.
So now we'll move on to the last portion of our presentation here, LinkedIn Learning and other helpful tools. So LinkedIn Learning is an incredible tool that many have used, and it provides a wide variety of courses. And these courses can be basic computer things like Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Office 365, that sort of thing. Or it could be, skills that are related to what you do. So if you're in sales, it could be different sales courses on, dealing with different things, such as there was one I saw not too long ago that was on, how to sell. Well, people are struggling financially, and how to sell empathy and all sorts of things like that. So that's something that's really important. It can help you progress and learn different skills, and you'll get a certificate of completion when you're finished. And these can be added to your LinkedIn profile as well. So LinkedIn Learning is included in a LinkedIn Premium account. A LinkedIn Premium account is $34.99 a month or $24.99 for an annual subscription. It's important to note that you don't have to pay to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is completely free to use. However, in order to use Premium, which you get a couple different features, you can see who's viewed your profile, that sort of thing. Or, you can also get the annual subscription for $24.99 a month. LinkedIn does, however, usually offer a free month of Premium, so that's something you kind of keep your eye out for. If you have some time on your hands, maybe do a couple courses, that sort of thing. It can be really beneficial that way. So a few of the other programs that LinkedIn has to offer would be, salary. So you can search by location to see your average salaries for your career. So, for example, you're graduating high school and you're not 100% sure what you want to do. You can go look at, maybe you want to be a lawyer. You can go and you can see what lawyers make in different cities, across Canada or across the United States. And then that could help make your decision. If you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to live in Toronto or if I want to live in, Vancouver. Then you can go in and you can look and see what the attorneys make in different areas, as well as what companies are paying at a high, or what companies are hiring, or what major companies are hiring, and what the workforce looks like. So that's one of the really cool features, and it can be to any sort of career. It doesn't have it can be anything. It could be cooks, police officers, anything. So the other thing that's really interesting about LinkedIn is groups. So you can join groups related to your field or past courses you have taken. So, it could be a conference that you were on. It could be, a university alumni group or anything like that. Or it could even be your high school alumni group with all your friends from high school. It really, there's the groups, you can make them yourselves or you can join groups. It could be on, things that you're interested in your career, like psychology. If you're a psychologist, it could be, on psychology, and that would be a place where people share articles that might help you in your career. So it's really LinkedIn, like I said, it's really a professional place where people, are there to focus and work on their careers and continue to develop them. So this leads us to our last point, and then be the company pages. If your workplace has a company page, then you can see your coworkers' profiles, and you will also show your profile when people are viewing your company. So some workplaces will even pay for LinkedIn staff to use LinkedIn for professional development. So like getting LinkedIn Premium, and you can use LinkedIn Learning, that sort of thing. So that's a really cool feature. You can see in your group, there's a My Company page. You can go in there and share articles with your team privately so that only people on the team know. It'll also help you connect with your coworkers, or if somebody's looking, if somebody's looking to hire and they see that you work for a reputable company, you might you could get headhunted, that sort of thing. So it's really it's an incredible tool for companies, for development, for staff development, that sort of thing, and for helping put a face to their employees. But it's also great for individuals as they're able to help grow their network and market themselves. So we would love to hear from you. If there's if you need any help with anything or had any questions, you can feel free to give myself an email at awilson@empsolutions.ca, or you give Amy an email, aoikel@empsolutions.ca, or just email our general line at info@empsolutions.ca. We're offices in Bridgewater and Liverpool, as well as regular hours in Chester's and Hubbards. For more information on our hours of operations, please visit our website at www.empsolutions.ca. And join us on our new LinkedIn page. So once you create your account, feel free to like and follow our LinkedIn page. The link's there. You search up Employment Solutions Society on LinkedIn and we'll be there. Thank you all for joining us today and taking the time out of your day to view this presentation. I hope you have a fantastic day.